Okay, so time to take the wheel, start taking it apart. I have set up on my table inside the house the parts that I'm gonna be using and everything else that you guys need for anybody that wanna convert the front and the rear wheel to motorcycle wheels. So I already took these little adjusters with the nut that it goes in here, and I used the 13 millimeter wrench. Take those ones out, and then I have my socket. It's an 18 millimeter socket for the nut. So those are out. That's out. This is I always keep it that way. Always have working since I'm a kid. Taking what comes from one side on one side and what comes from the other on the other end. Not that it makes much of a difference, but sometimes it does, or depend on what way things come. Especially if you ever guys have done dirt bike clutches. They have on the plate of the clutch, they have one side with a little edge and one side doesn't, and does make a difference the way that they come out, the way that they go in. Okay, so this is out. I'm trying to work actually with one hand when I'm recording. I mean, a lot of people probably got these mopeds already built and they haven't done much of a work. So that's one side and the other, and then the wheel need to be pushed completely forward. That you see the space right here, and now it's not. So then we can take the chain out, and when you take it off the sprocket, spin the wheel and the chain will drop. Now that the chain drop out of the sprocket, it'll sit right there on the swing arm, and we got the wheel. Okay, I'm gonna go inside, gonna grab my caliper and show you what numbers I pull and what I measure. Okay, talk to you guys soon. Alrighty, we're back inside. The sprocket need to be removed. If the sprocket was put properly, these screws, they're gonna have Loctite. Make sure then you use the right Allen key. This is a 532 and it fits perfect, no play. I will remove the other ones, and when I did put this, you guys can see the thread still have the blue Loctite, otherwise they become loose. This guy comes out, you guys can see the Loctite still there. So that's with that. Spin it, and the same thing, we're gonna remove the screws for the rear disc brake. Okay, and after that I'm gonna cut all the spokes, and I'm gonna save two, because in case that I really need to build this wheel back, I can order spokes with that length. So I'll keep two spokes, the rest are going out. Also I'm gonna take the valve, get the air out of the tube, mount the tire. Also tires, they have a rotation just in case this tire rotates this way. Okay. Okay. The disc is out. This also they had Loctite. Air is out, and I got these two little tools that I got from the bicycle shop. They're about $12. and they go in here, and you pry the tire out. Okay, I'm gonna take the tire out. I'm gonna start cutting all the spokes, and I'm gonna save a few spokes. That was it. Two broke. Find another way to cut them. I'm probably gonna use my grinder, but I'm not gonna bring it inside. So just gonna run the grinder around it, cut them all up, and come back in. Okay. Cut all the spoke with the grinder and save one spoke to have the length. This is the moped hub, the rear hub. The smaller little, whatever we can call like star shape, is for the disc brake, and the larger one is for the sprocket. That way we know when we lace the spokes what way the trailing spokes they're gonna be, which I'm gonna explain as the wheel get built, and on the brake side what way the trailing spoke they're gonna be, so when the wheel breaks the spoke they have the tendency to get tighter. You guys see as I build it. So I already pulled the numbers, so whoever have a moped stock rear hub, they're not gonna have to measure. But if they do so, I also can post on the video or let you guys know which calculator I use. You need the number from center to center, which will be the flange. It's gonna ask you right side flange and left side flange, whichever is the right and the left. That'll be one of the numbers to ask you. And then it's gonna ask you another number, which is the width from outside to outside of the hub. And I believe there is one more number where I'll put it on, but it's even simpler. Whoever have the stock moped hub, they're not gonna have to pull any numbers, because somebody have a different hub, and their width from this side to this side, it was 2 millimeters bigger than mine, and from center hole to center hole right here, he had 2 millimeters less. And my spokes and his spokes, they only end up being, this is on millimeter 0, they only end up being a half of a millimeter, which will be right here. I don't know if you guys can see the gap on my caliper, but that's about 0.50, 0.60, which is a half of a millimeter, imperceptible. So I got my spokes right here, 36. I got the washers. I got the washers from Everbuilt, but I got this bag, but that way you guys can see it. It's an orange bag with Everbuilt in it. It says quantity 30 and number 8, but actually I'm using number 10s. Okay, a spoke tiner is the blue one from Park Tools, and my spokes are right here, 36 sapin liter silver 12 gauge, 205 millimeters long. Okay, and that'll pretty much will do the stock hub, or the one and the other guy post some pictures on a website. He uses one from Pirate Cycling, which is not a stock hub. Now the washers, they need to be cupped. I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell, but these are flat, and this already is dished, if you guys can see it. And he drilled on a piece of aluminum a half-inch hole about a quarter of an inch deep, and then he tapped the washers into it. And what I did is a little different. All what I did is, which I'm gonna do one right here. Hopefully my camera is recording well. I take the washer, I put it right on the hub, and I took anything flat. I ended up using a speed board, but could be the back of a screwdriver that is small enough, could be the back of a nail, and I put it right there. Tap it twice, and the washer is already capped. I'll do one more, and that's it, because I already pre-did all the other ones. It might sound hard hit, but it's really, really easy. There it is. Okay, so now those are ready. So we got the 16 millimeter long brass nipples for the 12 gauge spokes. We got the spokes. I got it from the same place that this guy actually got him. Jujimbo Garage. That's the card, if you guys can see it. Then you guys can get 205 millimeter 12 gauge silver or black spokes from this guy. You can find these on eBay. I think they were like $25 or $26. The tool to tie the nipples from Park Tool, I got it from eBay. Is the blue one, because it comes in blue, green, and black. You need the blue for the 16 millimeter 12 gauge spoke nipples. The washers, I got it from Home Depot, but they're number 10, no number 8s. And we got the hub, which you already seen. So now we're gonna take this guy up. This is my rear 18-inch rim, and the tracking number is there, and it's a Moose Racing. Okay, and I'll post what rim I got for the this is 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 36-inch hole 18-inch rim, and I got it from eBay for $119 free shipping. So I'm gonna start throwing some spokes in here, and I'll show you how you gotta start doing the spokes. So I'm gonna throw 9 spokes in, take the camera, and tell you how I dropped them, what way, and for what reason. Okay, so you guys can be here, I don't mind. I got the a drill bit. I'm gonna give you guys the size of it, and I pre-drill just a tab, maybe about a millimeter in on every hole on both ways, so the spokes, they're flare out right here. They have like a little bevel. They can sit flatter on the rim, on the hub. You wanted to drop your spokes from outside in, because if you do them the other way, when they come through, you'll have these spokes on the way. If you started with the inner spoke on your way out, and then you won't be able to spin them. So you want to run your 9 spokes into your hub from outside in, and then the same thing on the other side from outside in, and then you drop the other ones through, because that way they will be sticking out. I'm gonna put one in, if I can aim the, because then they'll be already out this way. That way you can spin it, because it's a 3 cross pattern. So you're gonna go over the first one, over the next one, and under the other one. That way you'll be able to do that. So that's the way to do it. I have the first 9. They go 1, then skip 1, 1, and skip 1, 1, and skip 1. And then what you wanted to do right now, there's plenty of play all around it. I only tie the nipples a little bit and put the washers in it. This is the side where my disc brake is going to be. The disc brake actually, it goes that way, but regardless, also the disc brakes, they're gonna have an arrow when you put it in, the way that it rotates. But when the disc, the caliper grabs and the wheel slows down, it's gonna pull this way. So then what you wanted to do is your outer spokes, or the ones that you drop it from outside in, you want to spin this hub right now forward, if you could say. And when you spin it forward, these holes, then in the beginning, they are facing that way. They make no sense because the spoke, they're going straight in, and these holes are facing forward this way. But now when you spin the hub forward that way, now these spokes, they're gonna have tension. So when they all cross over and the wheel break, the spoke have the tendency to tighten even more. Because if you spin the wheel the opposite way, first, these holes, they're facing the other way, so I tell you that it's the wrong way. And second of all, when the wheel break, the spokes, they want to do anything. They're not gonna probably, but they're gonna want it to come loose, going that way. When if the wheel is this way, they want it to tie it up. At least that's what I read and been looking at Shimano, how they lace the wheels and some motorcycle wheels. So now I'm gonna spin this guy around it. And I'm gonna run the spokes again from the top in to the bottom and spin them. Okay, we're going back to the beginning. I have people at home. I had to stop, and I kind of lost the loop of what I was. But after, we did a little drilling, so the spokes, they sit very flat, and then we said then we're gonna drop on the brake, the disc brake, right? And then I'm gonna put back in here. We're gonna, because the force of the wheel braking, we drop all our spokes from the top down, which now you guys gonna see why, because right now it's easy to run these spokes up and fold them over and run them whatever way we need to. Then the other way around, you'll be trapped under these spokes. So you're gonna drop from both sides the spokes from outside in, and then all what you need to do is you're just gonna put it on the upper hole, and you're gonna skip 3 holes and gonna put the next one, and 3 holes in the next one. Then you're gonna take the hub and then gonna spin the hub forward the way then the wheels spin. That's gonna tilt all the spokes back. After that, you spin the wheel where this, I'm filming it with the camera on my hand, but still this is where the sprocket is, and to counter-react that force, I got my hands with grease. On the sprocket side, you're gonna run the spokes from the top down, and then you're gonna go immediately the opposite way of the ones that now they'll be facing from the bottom, which will be your upper hole, and then do the same thing. Skip 1, 2, 3, the next one. I'm gonna start right here because they have. So you're gonna go cross of the first one on the opposite hole, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, the next one, 1, 2, 3, the next one, 1, 2, 3, the next one. So this will be facing the opposite way, which is not gonna be the same on the front wheel, because the front wheel doesn't have a braking side and a drive side. They only have a drive side. All the spokes, they're gonna be tilted the same way because the front wheel only brakes. Okay, hope this is somewhat clear. And all the spokes are loose. You can see all the threads all around it. Now we're gonna start running the other spokes, and we're gonna do our cross pattern. So at this time, I wish I will have a GoPro head strap, but I don't. So I'm using one hand to hold this and one. So now we go on cross pattern. So now these, they're gonna cross opposite, so you're gonna go one over, and one under. 3 over, okay, this is called the 3 over under or whatever it is. I'm almost like have so much information, but you go over the first one, over the next one, and then you're gonna bend the spoke a little bit to get under the next one. That's what the hub plate. That's why you don't want to tie the spokes, because you can move it around. So at that point, you're gonna go over, under, and you can tell that it's gonna line up right on that one. Just like that. But it's over, it's under that one. So they have tension. And then you're gonna drive the next one up and do the next thing. You're gonna move it until you find the first spoke that comes across with it, and you're gonna go over, under, and drop the next one over, under, and so, and then do the same thing on the opposite side. The only thing in the other spokes are gonna come the opposite way of those ones, so they're gonna be tilted the other way. So I'm gonna put them together and I show you the wheel. Okay, I got the camera right there. I'm sure you guys can see, at least get the good idea. So again, we're going now from the inside the hub out and continue. Then soon as they cross the first spoke to the opposite side, you know, because remember, if these are tilted this way, the other ones they go on the opposite way. So that'll be the first. Go over, and under. Now, if you can see, the wheel have play, which it helps, because right now when you go under, you need to go to that hole across that one, so you can push the hub this way, and it'll give you enough room to bend the spoke a little bit. You're gonna have to do that. The spokes, they're gonna have to be slightly bent to be able to make it under the other spoke. And it's not a big deal, because when you put tension in it and you tie them, they're gonna tie it up. So now if you guys think, if you guys would have put the inner spoke and then you try to drive these ones when the other ones they were in, you would have been trapped under here and never be able to pass them through. Okay, so this is the last spoke out of one side, and again over, and under the next one, which will be that hole. And to do that, I'll move the hub down as far as I can. Take the spoke out of the middle to bend it a little bit. And then it's have a little bend in it. You can basically straight it back up. And put the nipple. Okay, so here we go. Then we have one side completely done, and you can see that's the 3 cross pattern. Okay, okay, good. Hold these up. It's over right at that corner, over and under that one, over under that one, over and under, and that'll be one side laced. Then we spin the wheel, and this is the opposite way. So as we see, these ones, they facing this way. So when we drop the first one, we go on the opposite way. So we create our cross pattern. So I'm gonna drop one in right here. I know the video kind of sucked, but the same thing. This is how it came in. It's right at the opposite side of that one, so that counts as the first one. Over, and under that one. That means under this one, it'll be on that hole, and so, and build the wheel. After that, tight all the spokes evenly. Probably the best thing to do is right here is let the spoke be pretty much flush with the top of the nipple, and you'll be pretty much set. And since that I don't have a wheel stand, I'm gonna put my wheel on my bicycle, on my moped itself, and put a screwdriver like this, tape into the swing arm, and I'll be able to see the wobble of the rim this way, and then put something the opposite way and be able to see it. And then, you know, you start tying your spokes. If the wheel wobble this way, you want to tie 3 spokes on the opposite side. Okay, well, I didn't have the time yesterday. It got dark when I took the wheel outside, and as you guys can see, it's already installed. It's really perfect. It's less than a millimeter off both ways. That means what I did is I put the wheel back into the swing arm because I don't have a wheel balancer, and then right here I taped a screwdriver. I'll grab a screwdriver and I'll show you guys. I grabbed a screwdriver. Obviously the tire didn't have the rim didn't have the tire. I put a screwdriver this way so I could follow this edge, make sure that they didn't have a egg shape, if we could say, and then I taped the screwdriver this way, and if you spin the wheel you guys can see that it's like literally very, very accurate. And how these work, if the rim touches the screwdriver at this point, you want to tie the first 3 spokes or nipples on the opposite side. And if the wheel is far away from the screwdriver, then you want to tie the 3 next spokes on this side. After you finish doing that, you know, so basically you want to spin the wheel a little bit and then see if it keeps itself, you know, within like a small distance. And if it goes far away, you tie the spokes on this side, and if it goes that way, you tie the spokes on the other side. And after you finish, when the screwdriver is this way, that is going to follow this edge. If it goes away from the screwdriver, then you want to loosen 3 spokes on this side and 3 spokes on the other side, so you don't throw the wheel off from side to side, but that'll allow the rim to go up. And if it's touching, then you want to tie them 3 in each side also to squeeze them down. That's basically it, but that's how it came out. Pretty nice actually. I rode it today and it rides very, very different. I mean, I can take turns at 40 miles an hour today and leaning it sideways with no problem. Not only that, there's no vibration. Very big difference. So I'll be doing shortly the one in the front, and I also ran that one to show you them the spot.